allotted to us. What I was prepared to do previously was to bring to you the case of Zimbabwe and the question of women, water, and migration as it had to do with Zimbabwe. However, that I will perhaps talk very briefly about the relationship of liberation, that is the liberation of a people as determined by the ownership of its land. And that we are very much aware that water, air, land, and water is the source of life. And that those of us, or those of you, and I am really indebted to my sisters, the information that you imparted, in fact, will help in terms of my work here in the United States as it relates to the question of the ownership of land and how land and water now, water across the world has become the second, quote, commodity that is accessed by developed countries, and through their control, through their occupation in some instances of that very precious commodity called land, is how the distribution of the water and all of the resources in that land is made. We are totally aware that this is now a global economy, and that the issues of water distribution, of wealth distribution, is no longer singularly focused on one country, that it is now a global movement. Heard one of my colleagues talk about purchasing water in Africa. Well, here in the United States, for access to clean, unpolluted water, women in rural and urban areas buy water. Across the world, the same multinational corporations that start the wars, colonial wars in the past for land, colonial wars now for oil, and colonial wars in the future for water. And so that I'm sure the Drama Institute will continue these kinds of discussions so that we'll be able to bring you the connection between what happens in West Africa, in East Africa, and in Southern Africa. It's the same kind of policies and practices that happens across the world. And for us, women must be, since in fact, as one of my sisters said, they provide the culture, the nurturing, not only of offspring, but of the land itself. And we must see ourselves as a global movement, because unless the source of control of the very essence of life, which is land, unless that is focused on, and there is a need to have women focus on that source. We will attempt to resolve it village by village, city by city, country by country. And before you know it, we will be continuously spinning the same wheels. So that what I am suggesting and will do is to, in the work that I do, because now I work for the New York State Legislature. I am the chief of staff to Inez Barron, who is the assemblywoman from the 40th Assembly District. And what I will do in terms of the information, because we do see New York State, and I'm sure those of you who are from the United States and maybe from New York understand the issue of water in the New York area because of the fracking and the polluting of the water here in New York in particular. We will incorporate the information that you've given into that and to focus a national and international policy on how it is we address what's going to be the next sought after militarily, and that is war. So thank you very much, and we will continue.